Hello, hope we're all okay. We're gonna carry on for like short crust pastry. We're gonna make some sweet pastry, okay? So same sort of principle, little bit different recipe, okay? Different quantities. So we've got some flour, we've got some grated butter again, and we've got some icing sugar. And then we're gonna bind it all together with some egg yolks, all right? So we're gonna need 4 egg yolks. In the bowl, I believe I've got 600 grams of plain flour, 300 grams of grated butter, and then what is it? 200 grams of icing sugar, okay? So we're gonna rub this together again, okay? But firstly, we're just gonna put the flour with the butter and just separate the butter up, okay? Again, you saw from maybe saw from a previous video, grating the butter is much easier, okay? So it's nice cold butter, okay? Grated straight away, and then it takes probably a quarter of the time to rub the butter into the flour, okay? So now again, thumb and fingers, I'm just doing this with my thumbs, okay? I'm pushing against my fingers and I'm rubbing the butter in to the flour. When you're making sweet pastry, you can also use the creaming method for sweet pastry, okay? You could always have soft butter, and you could blend that with your sugar first, okay? A bit like you're making a cake, but when we don't want no air in the butter, so you just mix the sugar with the butter, and then you're gonna add your egg yolks, and then you'll fold your flour into that, okay? It's actually easier to do it that way, but the rubbing in method I'm gonna do today. Okay, so we're just gonna rub this in to make breadcrumbs, and then we're gonna add our egg yolks to it. Right, so our flour and our butter is all rubbed together, okay? So it now resembles breadcrumbs, okay? So it's a breadcrumb stage, okay? It's turned the flour a little bit yellow. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but it's turned it like a pale yellow color, not the white. We've got 4 egg yolks we're gonna add to the middle. And now I'm just going to gently stir it in. So a bit like using the claw of your hand. I'm just going to gently stir it in, okay? I'm not mixing it really, not kneading it. I just want to disperse the egg yolk through my mix first. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still rubbing. Okay, I don't want to overwork the gluten in our flour, okay? So the egg yolk is going to go in. And we're going to disperse it first rather than keep kneading it, okay? So if we start kneading it too much, we're going to end up with really tough pastry, okay? But if we disperse that egg yolk nice and gently, okay? So we're hydrating the flour basically, okay? We're making it sticky until it starts to come together, okay? So we don't really want to work it too much. So we'll keep rubbing it together, and it will slowly come together, okay? We may need a little bit more egg yolk. I think we might need 1 more egg yolk. It just depends how old your flour is, okay? Sometimes some flours take more than other flours, but that's so I can see it. So it's come together, but it's still quite dry, okay? So I'm just going to get another egg yolk and add another egg yolk to it. My eggs are actually very small, so it's probably why. So again, I'm just going to mix it in, okay? I'm going to rub it in. Again, we're dispersing that egg yolk, okay? This is when we get our really nice short pastry, okay? We need to be delicate when making pastry. Sometimes we don't want tough old pastry. Yeah. So now I know it's actually quite nice and moist now. Okay. The flour's all hydrated. It's now come together in bigger lumps. Okay. You see that? So what I'm going to do is just scrape it off my fingers, because there's obviously the wetter bits are on my fingers, and I'm just going to start gently pushing it all together, okay? I'm just pushing it together. We're not kneading it, okay? We're not working it. We're just gently bringing it all together. Okay, into a shape that we can then cling film and put in the fridge. I'm just going to divide this into two though, because I'm going to make 2 tarts up. Okay, so I want to make sure they're separate in the fridge. Just going to get the excess paste from my hands, and we're going to wrap it up and put it in the fridge. Just put some cling film on the bench, okay? Going to get 1 ball of my pastry, and now I'm just going to push it down nice and flat, okay? So I always say, whenever you're doing pastry for anything, make sure it's at the right shape now, so it's easier to roll out, okay? So in a little while I'm going to make some tarts, okay, and they're going to be round. So there's no point making a square block of pastry and put it in the fridge and then trying to make a round out of a square. So I've made it into a rough circle, okay? I'm going to wrap it up in the cling film, nice and tight, and then what we're going to do, we're going to turn it over, and I don't know if you can see these cracks, we're just going to push it into the cling film so the cracks seal up. Okay, so then when we come to roll it out, they're not going to crack anymore, okay? They're going to keep nice and secure and together, okay? So that's one lot. So that needs to go in the fridge now for about half an hour, 45 minutes, okay, to chill.